This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon and welcome back to a new episode. I never realized that I said that. Welcome back to a new episode. You can't really welcome back to something new, can you? But welcome back to another episode of Mood Prep. Maybe I'm saying new to all the new people. Doesn't matter now that it's going to make me rethink the start of this. Here we go. This is how we start the podcast sometimes. Isn't that interesting? Either way, we're getting stuck straight into it today. Yesterday I shared a quote that I heard on a podcast that I found quite thought-provoking. I'm going to share another quote with you today that I actually heard. I saw some article pop up on Facebook, and it said how similar the HBO series on is it Chernobyl disaster and the actual footage of Chernobyl was so similar. Anyway, so I decided to watch it, the video of the similar sort of footage, and during it at the start, it actually, as some documentaries and movies, as someone speaking, I think it was sort of showing all this writing and then going through and showing some what do these guys call it? B-roll, I think the industry term is, where there's just some footage and then so on and so forth. Either way, during it they said, every lie you say incurs a debt to the truth. Sooner or later, that debt is paid. And I found this so interesting. I was like, that's a really interesting way of putting it, because my experience, and I remember going through quite a challenging time not long after I had a really big downturn with the business. The business was operating fine. We had bad advice, and then because of that, just went from being on the highest of highs to the fucking lowest of lows. I actually didn't see the lows that were coming as well. Either way, during that time, there was a lot of I suppose within my circle there was quite a bit of conflict and things that were being said about me that I felt were being very untrue, but I decided I didn't want to try and defend them, because defending them sort of gave it more breath, right? Gave breath to the fire to make it more true, so to speak. So I tried to focus on what I could do. I mean, I was quite young at that time, with what's young, right? But in doing so, one of the things that I remember reminding myself during that period was constantly reminding myself that the truth will always come out and character never lies. And that reminded me just continue to stay true, focus on what's important to me, move through this, and then over time, the character of the people that are involved will come out. And if I actually am, significantly at fault here and I need to do something about it, then that'll also come out and I'll learn something, painful as it is. But on the flip side of that, I'm aware of what's being said and I'm aware of what my experience was, and those things don't match up. So I'm just going to continue fucking head down, bum up, doing what I could do. And it was tough going. It was very fucking tough going. And there was no sort of guarantee of success whatsoever at all. I thoroughly remember that. But either way, I kept trudging through. And in doing so, funnily enough, the other people ended up having their new businesses fall apart and so forth, and that it wasn't about taking pleasure out of that. It had nothing to do with it. But for me, it allowed me to go, what areas of my character have contributed to these difficulties, right? What area of my character contributed to these difficulties, and how can I make sure I don't do that again in the future? And so, in doing that, it allowed me to go, whatever the truth is, it'll come out. The lies will attract more lies, will attract more lies, will attract more lies. And in doing so, there's definitely been times since that have been extremely challenging for me, but one of the key things, and I think the Chernobyl documentary or whatever it is, said it well, where they said, every lie that you say will incur a debt. Now, a debt will always be paid back unless it's a government debt. That's another conversation. It will always be paid back. It's always going to be a time where the debt collectors come knocking. Whatever that means, whatever analogy, metaphor, whatever that comes up for each individual, right? But every single time we lie, the truth doesn't go away. It doesn't. You're going to have to pay it back. So how much time are you buying yourself by lying? Maybe it's a lie with yourself. By lying to yourself about something, how much time are you buying for whatever the positive intention of that lie is? Because the truth will come out. And I've had conversations, and even coaching conversations with people that are trying to, that they're manipulating stories and they're tricking themselves. Absolutely tricking themselves to thinking that what they're doing is, it's like a shadow conversation. They're sitting there and they're like, and this is things that I've read, this is my own experience of myself and so forth. It's just what they're trying to avoid is all they can fucking look at. So it's all they're manifesting in their life. And it's like, I can't handle lies. And then they're sharing stories about how they're, creating white lies in their day-to-day life, or they're not telling the full truth. So it's so interesting that what they're despising in others is actually what they're despising in themselves, but they justify it in a different way. And this is I would say, a common thing across majority of people, depending on different circumstances and different sort of levels of consciousness in each individual as well. But one of the key things to remember is that if we're going through a hard time, no matter how hard it is, being able to tell the truth is significantly easier in the long run than lying. Whether that's with somebody else, whether that's with ourselves. Staying in a relationship where you're no longer in love is a lie. It's a lie to you, it's a lie to them, and it's a lie to the world. And majority of the time, the world can fucking see that it's a lie. It's you that can't see it. Right? Running a business when you've got no idea what the fuck you're doing, but you're putting on this bravado, winging it. And I'm all for winging it on some degree. I think most of us are actually just winging it. But what I mean by that is putting up this false idea that you know what you're doing when there's absolute holes within your plans, and you're too proud to see those holes. You're lying, and you're gonna get found out by the market, by a business partner, by an accountant, by anyone, right? Now, it's all these ideas, all these opportunities for us to see this within ourselves, to be able to identify these things where we're not telling the truth. If you played a role where it's go, well, I didn't lie, I just didn't tell the truth. Come on, mate, you're justifying that to you. How would you feel if somebody else did that to you? They go, well, I didn't lie to you, I just didn't tell you the truth. So rather than having this promise to yourself of not lying, have a promise to yourself to tell the truth. It's a big fucking difference, because sometimes even being silent is lying. If you have something to say, if you have something to give the world, but you're staying silent so you don't upset other people, you're lying. You are absolutely lying about what's important to you at the core, and you're taking that lie to the grave. You're taking that lie to the grave, and you're teaching your kids to do the same. Sometimes the biggest lie we live is our job, because we're lying to ourselves that it's okay and that this is a worthy life to live, doing shit we don't like in this one existence. I talked yesterday about this. I talked yesterday about the fact that we get two lives, and the first one, the second one starts when we realize we only have one. This is the opportunity that we have. And so we have to ask ourselves, well, we don't have to. You can just fucking go blind the whole time. But if you want to find out more, if you want to get more out of life, if you want to give more, be more, do more, be able to do all these sorts of things, and also in the aspect of doing more of that, you become less of the. When we tell the truth more, we lie less. We can't become more without becoming less. We become more of one thing, we become less of another. Right? So we want to be more of all this and less of all that. The key's telling the truth. And when we lie to somebody else, we tell two lies. We tell the lie to them, and we tell the lie to ourselves that it's okay. So the real question here is, are you going to not lie, or are you going to tell the truth? Starting with yourself. And on that note, team, I am done. If you found this podcast beneficial, it would mean the world to me. If you'd pass it on to someone else that you think would also find it beneficial. And if you haven't already, jump on Facebook, search Mood Prep Online, join the conversation there. I have dates coming up very, very soon for the next Mood Prep Intensive. It's a 2-day seminar. It's going to be in Sydney this time in September. I'll have some dates and some more details for you, and some early bird tickets for those of you, and it's going to go in the group first. So if you're interested, make sure you jump in that group, find out more about it. Otherwise, team, that's it. I'm done. Until tomorrow. Peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick and slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
To be everything at once, be unblinded, be done